Good morning, good evening, and good in-betweening, YouTube. How about The Division? A game released by Massive on the hard-running line of incredibly wild hype, which was set to burst and slingshot the title into unimaginable popularity, but then died, was revived, and died again because the game took so goddamn long to release. But that's not all. As soon as news sites and public figures started entering the beta for the game, the little hype train that wasn't. Well, suddenly it became apparent that a lot of the game we expected wasn't quite there. After release, those hardcore players who poured everything in were pretty much finished with the content on offer in the time it took them to bake their Monster Energy drink-infused brownies. Why did I say that? Not to mention that on top of the incredible lack of depth within the endgame, which, despite adding of incursions, which you can think of as four-man raids, pretty much remains farming of Dark Zone, the game has been absolutely plagued with bugs and cheaters to the point where Massive really needs to think of doing some work on their entire back end. And their ass. In fact, the latest in a line of absolutely ridiculous bugs is one where a vital stat, which is supposed to reduce damage from elites who comprise the entirety of endgame PvE, was actually doing the opposite, making you take more damage, and it has been for quite some time. I can easily see why something of this nature might invoke some strong feelings from the players. Now, it's not all bad. When The Division released, I had a ball playing it. The game had a robust movement, cover, and shooting system, making for pretty solid gameplay in any third-person shooter. A lot of reviews have pointed out the glaring sociological implications of the player literally being one member of a government-sanctioned death squad, whose only real basis of moral grounding is from your partner, who is almost fanatical in her devotion to the cause. So I won't really go into that other than to say we know they could have given this game's story much more depth. All elements of the Division's apparent fall from grace point to a disjointed development process. There are some nice things, in between a lot of bad. But I say don't give up hope just yet. The Division may be lacking in content right now, filled with bugs, hackers, and fanatical execution with little choice or reason. But remember that there is time for improvement and iteration. I'm going to assume that a fair chunk of the player base is still happily leveling up and making their way downtown, but if you're bored of having finished the content on offer, or just aren't really enjoying the game right now, put it down. Come back to it in a year or a year and a half and see what's changed. You might find that that one change you wanted to be put in was finally put in because they got around to it, they had the time. Or that there are extra incursion mechanics, or even that the story has been expounded upon in a way you can really get into. Or maybe in a year, you'll just really feel like playing a third-person shooter MMO with solid gameplay tactics in between your other games. But thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider liking it. It helps more than you can imagine. And if you just enjoyed listening to my pretty goddamn amazing voice, you can subscribe to be notified whenever I release a new video. Till next time, praise our Lord Cthulhu.